Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're tuning in from. What a day today we saw in the markets. S&P 500 down 0.36%. Not exactly the reversal candle we were looking for, but we're just going to go with that for now. Looks like the QQQ is positive in the green, 0.80%. Looks like USO oil 0.46% down. IWM down 1.08%, XLF down 1.18%, the transport's down 1.21%. We will get into all of this today. There you saw the new webpage. We got the webpage up and running. Check it out, our RTB, ridethebulltrading.com. So let's go ahead and take a look at the intermediate time frames, get down to the intraday time frames, and we'll take a look at what is really going on today. I'm going to start off with the hourly chart. As you can see in the as far as the hourly chart goes, as you can see, we have this uptrend. We're looking for a dip buying opportunity. And so far, we have not seen the dip. We had a little tick down today. The high is 351.30. And so what we're looking for is buying at support or buying on these dips. And I'm looking for anywhere between 340 and 345. I may not get that in the next couple days or this week, but we will see. That's what I'm shooting for. And as soon as we have those numbers in, as soon as they come up and we are looking to be buyers in this market, this will be posted to the Discord. Let me go to the lower time frame here. Start the 15-minute. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you guys can actually see what's going on the screen here. And as you can see, at the end of the day, we saw a little bit of a sell-off. We'll see as far as where we open up tomorrow. I would consider this a reversal candle, at least on the 15-minute chart. Let me zoom in a little bit more here. Just so you can kind of see what's going on. This is perpetual buying. You know, yes, it is bullish. Do I want to be a swing trader up at these prices? Not necessarily. As far as risk versus reward goes, that is not an ideal or optimal place to be going into some long positions. And you really have to think about this for a minute, what the market is doing right now, what it's signaling right now. Even if I look at the VIX here, let me go over to VIX. So it looks like we have a little bit of action in the VIX. Let me zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about here. The VIX is being ran up right now, and it's hard to tell if this is going to be a bullish action for the VIX. And of course, if it is, it may not be so well for the broad market. Let's go over to the Qs. Triple Qs. Let's look in the Nasdaq. I noticed this morning I posted in the Discord a picture of on FinViz. It was a picture of the heat map, if you will, of all of the stocks that were green today versus all of the stocks that were in the red today. And I noticed but just a few stocks that were in the green. And then of course the rest of the market was trailing behind in the red. And some of the indexes, they weren't down as much as they were at the end of the day, but they were still down nonetheless compared to the Qs. So we still see this run up in the Qs. I'm going to put it on a daily chart here, just so you can really see what we're looking at. You have to understand the psychology behind the market right now. I'm getting a lot of text messages and messages in Discord and on Messenger asking about these rallies. And you know what? We're going to go look at Tesla and Apple just so we can kind of nail it down a little bit. But the job of the market is to make as many of us feel like we are missing the show. And you know what? Maybe we did miss the show. But at what price are we willing to step in here and be buyers? This is going almost straight up. And I'm going to go down to the intraday time frame here in a minute. But the psychology behind this action is just this. It is to suck in as many retail traders as possible. And I'm not saying that they're just going to pull the rug out. That is possible. And at these prices, if they do that, we will see a lot it'll be pretty severe. The drop in price will be really severe, to where if I was going to be a swing trader up in these prices without waiting for some kind of a pullback, and like we've been saying on stream and on the daily videos and Discord, it's better to be a buyer at support, whether that correction comes in time, whether it trades sideways, or if it comes in price and it trades down a little bit. That is definitely a possibility, and that would be more risk versus reward wise. That would be way better. Let me go over to Apple really quick. Just actually, let's go to the lower time frame on the cubes before I get totally sidetracked here, because I'll go off in my own world, if you will. So this is the whole point in the market. It's doing its job. It's making investors and traders feel like they are completely missing an opportunity here, and whether they did miss it or not, the point is, do I want to be a buyer at these prices without waiting for some sort of a pullback? I can promise you one thing: the pullback will come. The problem with this is that we don't know when, we don't know what price. Whether that is tonight, we could see a huge drop in the market tomorrow, or whether that's in 2 weeks, we don't know. This thing could continue higher. I'm going to do something else here. I'm going to go in and I'm going to turn on after hours, because I noticed something in the after hours session, and we talked about this on stream last night. And if you guys don't know, you know what, I'm gonna do this before I forget. Here's my little, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and bell notification. That way, when we do go live, you guys won't miss anything. You'll get the notification that we're live, and it'll give you an opportunity to tune into our Sundays at 5, where we go over technical analysis. Also, if you like these videos, feel free to hit the like button if you're getting value out of them. It really helps out the channel. And so something I noticed, or something that we talked about this weekend is we talked about the Qs at 300. That was mentioned in last night's stream. I'm not gonna, go back and possibly watch the stream, but for those of you who did tune in last night, we did talk about this. It is possible that the Qs are headed to 300. And I'm not calling this or saying that this is a top. I'm not saying that, maybe it is or isn't psychological resistance. Like, that's possible. To be honest with you, I'm not sure I would so much consider this candle up here. I'm going to zoom in on the 5-minute chart so you can really see this here. So I'm not sure that I would consider this candle up here. I don't know if I would consider this a hitting its target. This is an after hour session candle. This is some sort of hedge fund or investment firm, or whatever they are, where they traded up at these prices. I wouldn't actually consider that part of the chart, and that's also why I don't like to use after hour sessions for some of my technical analysis. But it's more principle. We are getting up here where let's say the high was more like 296.70, somewhere in that range. Let's call that the high. In fact, if I go back out to the daily chart, high is 296.75. But again, I mean, we're getting up here to where, we've ran another 11% in the last 2 weeks. So that's something to really ask yourself, like, do I want to be a buyer at these prices? Yeah, I'm going to get off of this before I put you guys to sleep. I'm going to go to Apple. Okay, Apple, same thing. We see a high of 131. We did have not a reverse split. We had a split in Apple. I don't know exactly what the price is. I don't know if it's 100 billion in market cap, today traded alone, or whatever the figures are. I haven't actually looked yet. We do know that Apple's a $2 trillion market cap, or over $2 trillion, which is higher than some of the indices around the world. Excuse me. Especially in there's an index in UK. It's trading higher than the entire index is in UK. Now, yes, we all have iPhones. We all own Apple long term. 131, that's pretty hefty of a price tag. You do see a lot more volume coming in here. I don't know if I would call this exhaustion volume yet. I mean, it looks like we already had exhaustion volume on these days, and it just kept rallying higher. So anything is possible. Again, it's a bullish, the chart, there's nothing really bearish about this. The chart remains bullish. If you're holding Apple long term, there's no reason to sell. I would just hold on to it as long as you can. Just hold on to it, especially if it's long-term account we're talking about here. But as far as swing trading, I don't know if I would want to buy this, for a swing trade this week or next week. You know, Apple could run all the way up to $150. The risk to reward is just not there until we do see some sort of a pullback. I promise you, don't FOMO. You're not missing anything. You know, even if it does continue higher for the next 2 weeks, it's not worth the risk in my opinion, unless you're trading some sort of light, you know, a couple shares or maybe 1 or 2 contracts. It's not worth the risk of being down. When this thing does pull back, it's going to pull back hard, and we will know, you know, but that also means that I wouldn't go out and just short it. As far as your swing trade shorts go, there's no reason. This isn't giving any sign of letting off the gas, so I wouldn't just step in and short this either. Let me go to Tesla since we're on that subject. You know, I've kind of slowed down my Tesla posts. I've been posting about Tesla for a while now. We posted this breakout. Let me just zoom in on it here. We had this. Let's go like this here, just so you can kind of see this. So we had this on one of the charts. We did a post in Discord about this, and we talked about being buyers around $1,400, which in this chart, it's not $1,400. It's closer to, you know, I don't know, and actually between 280 and 293, somewhere in this zone down here in the bottom of the wedge, bottom of the bull flag. You know, but this was back on beginning of August that we posted about this, and it really has been going straight up since then. So I don't know. I'm not sure that I would step in and buy this at this point. We do see the same kind of volume coming into Tesla. Do I want to be a buyer at these prices? You know, we're trading at $500. It just split. So that's roughly $2,500 that this stock is now trading at. I'm not here to say Tesla is or isn't worth it, and that's not my argument. We could go down a line of fundamental reasons why Tesla should or shouldn't be at $500 a share. But the point is that it is at $500 a share. There will be a day that this thing turns and this thing corrects. And if you guys, I do have a video on the last Tesla short, or one of the last Tesla shorts, where we actually wait for a reversal candle, as you see on the screen. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on this, just so you can really have a good idea of what this actually looks like. So this is before the breakout. This is actually pre-COVID-19. You saw this reversal candle, and then you saw it on really heavy volume. And honestly, this was exhaustion volume coming into this day. And so we saw this reversal pattern take place, which gave a good opportunity to short, using that as a stop loss. So yes, your short trades could have been entered in on that day if you saw it coming, that is. Another possibility is wait for price to retrace and then hit the short again as close as you can to that high. That's the proper way, is waiting for the actual retracement of the reversal candle, not just stepping in the day after the reversal candle, because as you can see, if you did that, you would have been shorting down in this day, and the risk to reward wouldn't be there. So as far as shorting it, that's something I would be looking for, is something along those lines. As far as taking long trades at this point, long swing trades, at a certain point, you know, this thing is going to correct, and when it does, it's not going to be pretty. The last correction that we saw, even this pullback on this day, I'll go ahead and zoom in on this candle. Okay, let's see here. So even this candle right here, if you follow my cursor, if you will, on this candle, we saw a high of 359. I forget what that was on Tesla's pre-split chart, but this one day alone, it went down 17% in one day, and then the following day it dipped all the way down to 20%. So let me do a little, let's just say hypothetically this thing was to correct today. You know, we'll probably have a gap up in the morning based on the close today, but let's say that the retracement was from today. If we did a pullback here, a little 20%, you know, we're talking about 399, you know, $400 price target. So if I drew a line across the screen here and I said, you know, around $400, that's what we're looking at. And overall, it's really nothing. If Tesla had a 20% pullback, it really would be nothing to this chart, because the chart is parabolic. As far as selling your long positions, there's no reason to sell. This is an extremely bullish close today. I would ride this thing out just like Apple. I would ride this thing out as long as you possibly can, and not necessarily go ahead and start entering or closing your long trades. You could pull back on them a little bit, but really there's no reason this chart is giving us, you know, if we started seeing hourly closes below, let's say below 445, if price started coming back down and getting below 445, if you started seeing that kind of behavior, then I would consider lightening up a little bit. But you got to realize that's still even pulling back on this one candle's 10%. 10% pullback. So it really depends on your trading plan and what your risk versus reward is. Let me go over to, we're kind of on that for a minute there. Let's go over to IWM. We saw a little bit of you know, a pullback today in IWM, you know, and we were talking about this last night. There is a rising, you know, wedges kind of pattern here. There's also, you know, I could probably draw on a few trend lines going across the screen, but for now, let's just stick with the one that we have. We did close below that wedge line, and something to kind of consider with these is that maybe the one I have drawn on the screen is not, you know, maybe it's not correct as far as being in the right spot. Maybe it's off by a couple pennies. You know, I could activate this drawing, I could tighten it up, I could like pull, you know, I could play with it a little bit. You know, we could even pull it all the way up here and say it already did break down. You know, but it's more principle conceptual than it is anything else. As far as a short trade goes, below 153.52, I would definitely be considering shorting IWM myself. But the chart is bullish. You know, the overall trend is up. The chart is bullish. It's making higher highs, higher lows. We see it on the chart. You know, to me, this is a bullish pattern, and I would be looking for more of a breakout compared to a breakdown. So we'll see what happens with IWM in the next couple days. Here's the transports. Transports pulling back a little bit. We saw some resistance over here at the all-time highs, or the previous highs over here. A little bit of resistance. It put in a high today of 11,377, and then it pulled back. So same thing. You know, maybe it just needs a little bit more time. Maybe it does want to pull back a little bit. Even if it trades sideways, if it remains in this pattern above 10,698, or let's just call it 10,700 for all intents and purposes, as long as it stays above that, we're good to go. But there is still a lot of support down these and down here in these price levels as far as your transport stocks go. Let's look at TLT, and then let's look at TLT. Little bit of weird movement in TLT today. You know, I have this theory on TLT, but I've put it in every video for the last, I don't know how many weeks, so I'm not going to give the whole thing away. But you know, as far as the price action, we do have a reversal. I'm going to just zoom in on it a little bit. This did scare me out of a trade, so I was stopped out of TLT. I was in a long trade, and this huge red candle here coming down here, I entered down here on support. But yesterday's price action Fridays, I was stopped out of the trade, so I did not make this, you know, I did not have an opportunity to be a part of this move today. I didn't like the price action, and there's something, just one thing with TLT, whether we love bonds or not, or we think interest rates are going higher or not, TLT really needs to get back above this candle, and the high on this candle is 164.82. I know there's a lot more that goes into the bond market than just what I'm showing you on the screen, but you know, to make it simple, price needs to get back above that price here around 164 or whatever price. Let's see here, 164.82, 165. Price needs to get going. I don't like today's candle. It almost looks like we tried to make a run up this candle from let's see here, that would be Thursday's candle. It looks like we tried to run up there, found heavy resistance, pulling back. So I almost see one of these going on. I almost see something like this. And you saw where it acted as support right here. It tried to rally away, but then it came back and then it fell through, and now it just retraced. If price does one of these deals where it pulls back and then falls back through, making a lower low, that would be a good opportunity to enter a short trade. Or if price can get back above this area, would be a good long trade in my opinion. And I hope I didn't confuse it with the 75 lines on the screen. Let's go to silver and gold and we'll wrap it up. So silver, again, we talked about this on stream. I did have a long trade in silver. You know, we'll see how the rest of the week plays out. I do like this price action. We've run up, we pulled back. There was a little bit of resistance up here at 27.39. We are making higher lows, which is a good sign, which means there's going to be some more buyers showing up possibly. So I do want to see a breakout above the first resistance level right here is 26.49. But even when we get above that, there is this gap up here. The gap is 26.59 is the beginning of this gap, which there will be resistance at that gap. But if price can get up there in that area, I don't think the resistance will hold as much. I think we will be going for the highs again of 27.39 And if we get there in the next couple days, there will be resistance up here at 27.39. And we'll have to watch price action, take it one day at a time. Let's look at GLD. GLD, same thing. We have a long trade in GLD. You know, I feel like there's more room in silver to run than GLD itself. However, I do like this. It's almost the same kind of, you know, we had support, we had a run up, and there was some resistance up here at 194.45. It's pulled back. And so far we put in a low. We have a slight higher low, just barely. I wouldn't be surprised to see gold do one of these and possibly, you know, pull back again and then kind of get up here. As far as the stop loss goes, it depends on how long out your contracts are. I do like to use stop losses in my trading. That's part of my trading plan. And so I'm definitely using a stop loss. You know, but for people who are holding it more long term, I think it's okay to just kind of let it run. I do see a lot more higher prices in gold and silver, and so you know, time will tell. Well, that pretty much wraps it up. Again, like the video if you gain value out of it. Hit the subscribe button, bell notification, and then check out our new webpage, rtbtrading.com. Talk to you guys soon.